I don't really believe that you have to be or have any one certain thing to be successful. It might get your foot in the door, but it won't keep you there. I was honestly, I think, a little miserable. I really needed to make a change. And that was the beginning of something that would completely change Peter and I's life forever. Good morning, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Mornings with Mariyah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you are right now. I am still really new to this, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but my first episode of this, I actually filmed it with a vlog, and I felt like it was just a little bit too long, and it looked like most people didn't really watch it. So I'm doing a lot of trial and error here, trying to figure out if you guys would prefer for these episodes to be separate so that you can just listen to them, and then if you want to watch my vlog, you can, but it doesn't mean you're required to do both. I mean, I guess you could always fast forward. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about social media. I asked you guys in my DMs, what would you like for me to talk more about? And a lot of you came back and said, I want to learn about social media. I want to learn how to get into it. And like I always say, to whom much is given, much is expected. And social media has completely changed my life. For those of you who don't know, before Peter and I were content creators, we were professional figure skaters, which is a really cool job. But the reality is I was making, at my peak, when I was doing my dream job, I was making $30,000 a year. And unfortunately, with COVID happening, we lost our job anyway. That last year, I was honestly, I think, a little miserable. I really needed to make a change in my life. I was struggling because I felt somewhat trapped. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do next. Being a professional ice skater is a really cool job. However, when you put it on a resume, people are like, oh, that's really cool, but it doesn't necessarily help you get a job. So I just felt trapped, and I felt like I didn't really know what I wanted to do next. Before COVID, Peter and I had started to run an Etsy store, and we had our Etsy store for probably maybe 6 months. And that was supposed to be like, okay, we'll start this Etsy store, and maybe if it gets big enough, we'll have an additional source of income so that we can do the things that we want to do in life, like buy a house, have kids, etc. Well, COVID happens. We lose our jobs, and we were both like, oh crap, what are we gonna do now? Luckily, being a figure skating coach is a great job. It pays really well. I think, I don't know, it depends now, but it was like $90 an hour. But of course, you have to get your students. Peter coached skating for about 2 years, and during that time, we were still doing Etsy, and then I got pregnant with Aiden. So we were like, okay, now that we're pregnant, we obviously need to figure out long-term how we're going to be able to provide for our family. And sometime in that window, we started posting on social media, really just for fun. And I will never forget our first viral video. I went to a barbecue at my girlfriend's house, and we have a friend there who was already doing social media, and he was talking about TikTok, and like one of the girls went to look up this friend that she had from a long time ago, and he had 1 million followers on TikTok, and we're like, whoa, he has 1 million followers on TikTok. And so the next day I posted a video from Peter and I's wedding on TikTok, and Peter did tell me about TikTok probably like a year before this, but I was like, oh, whatever, TikTok, like I'm not interested. And so after that barbecue, I posted a video from our wedding on TikTok, and the video got 10,000 views. I remember screenshotting it and sending it to those friends who were at the barbecue, and I was like, oh my God, we got 10,000 views on TikTok. Haha, we're TikTok famous. Like, totally joking. And that was the beginning of something that would completely change Peter and I's life forever. And it's really funny to think back on it now, because I didn't have a goal to be an influencer. I didn't have a goal to be a content creator. I had no idea how people were making money on social media. I was just honestly joking around. And then somehow here we are today. But obviously from that moment to this moment, there was strategy and things that I did once I realized that I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is a career path that I want to take. So let's dive a little bit into that. So after we had our first viral video, we just continued to post kind of semi-regularly. I would not say it was on a schedule. We had still no intention of turning it into a job. During that time, I did get pregnant. So I was just like posting fun little things about our pregnancy. I had a really cute pregnancy announcement video. I do think during that time, I saw the potential. I was like, oh, okay, like I'm seeing this couple over here and like they're talking about how they were able to make this into a job, and I'm seeing this couple over here and I'm seeing this family over here. And so I feel like at this time I was really just watching and kind of like learning. I was taking it all in and I was like, oh, okay, like this could be something that we could turn into a job. But I didn't know anybody who was currently doing it, and I didn't know how to do it. So we just kept posting. And something that I hear all the time is that if you want to become a content creator, you have to have this really cool story. And I've had people tell me, you guys are successful on social media because of X, Y, and Z. And it always relates to our story and all of these other things that I have met so many people who do social media, and I don't really believe that you have to be or have any one certain thing to be successful. It's easy to say, oh, someone is successful because they have a cool story. It might get your foot in the door, but it won't keep you there. So after a while, brands did start reaching out to us via email, and we at that point were just negotiating and doing everything ourselves. We were not trying to look for management, and I'm really happy that we didn't look for management right away. So for a while we were negotiating ourselves, and we also signed up for a few platforms. I will come up with a list and put it on the screen, but a couple of the companies that we started with, one of them was called Obviously, the other one was Aspire, and you literally just load your information in there. You connect your Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever you have, and if a brand is a good fit, they'll reach out, or you can apply to campaigns. And then after that, we signed with this girl. Her name is Steph. I am still so grateful for her to this day because she really helped us understand kind of like your value as a content creator, because I think that is like, that's a big thing. I think when you're stepping into the content creation space, there's no set budget. There's no set amount that people should be making or a brand should be paying you. There's so many variables that go into what the brand is asking. So she really helped us understand the terminology, like what are deliverables? Deliverables are the content that they're asking for. So that could be, for example, they're asking for one IG reel, but are they just asking for a reel, and are they just asking you to put it on your platform? Sometimes they are, but then other times they are asking for a reel, and they're asking for paid usage, and they're asking for exclusivity, and they're asking for propriety. Like, you have to be careful with terminology when you're accepting brand deals, because brands know how to get the most bang for their buck. And it depends on the brand, but they don't always have your best interest at heart. They're going to try to make sure that they can, do right by their business and get as much content as they can at the best value. So the best thing that you can do is make sure that you are knowledgeable about the terminology before you go in and just sign a contract because they offered you money and you're like, yay, I made money. But you want to make sure that you're getting the money that you deserve. And that was one thing I was really grateful for Steph. Not only were we signing contracts with brands, we were making sure that we understood what we were signing before we signed it. So after working with Steph for about 6 months, we went from maybe getting $100 a video to getting our first 2 brand deals where we got paid $20,000 for, I cannot remember the content, but it was $20,000 for the campaign that we were a part of. And we were like, wow, oh my God, $20,000 to create content. This is so cool. Maybe this is something we want to pursue full time. So Peter did quit his job coaching skating. He quit for more than one reason. He really wanted to be at home with Aiden, but he was also like, if we can make this money at home and I can be at home with my family, then I definitely feel like this is something that we should pursue full time. So it was at that point we were like, okay, let's sign with a management company. Signing with a management company was the best decision that we ever made. But I also want to make sure that I emphasize it was only the best decision because it was a good management company. I hear so many horror stories of people signing with management companies with like super long contracts, high commissions, and then you start talking to other people, you start making friends in the industry, and you find out like 30% commission is way too high. 20% is pretty industry standard. But if you're signing with an agency that knows that they can take advantage of you and you're just excited to sign with someone, they will ask for something super high like 30%. And if you take it, they're gonna be like, great, like we just pocketed an extra 10% commission. So I will always encourage people to hold off on management until they feel like they're getting a consistent deal flow. unless you have a friend or someone that you can reach out to ask questions, because once you're locked into a contract, like there's not really much that you can do. Another thing that Peter and I did that I felt was really smart is when we signed with our management, we asked for a 6-month contract instead of doing the full year, so we could see how the first 6 months went, and then we had the option to extend into the year and then continue on after that. I'm grateful we did that, and I feel like that's something that you can potentially negotiate with a management company before you commit to a super long contract, because you want to make sure they're actually bringing you deals, because there are management companies that will literally just like pry off your inbox and they won't bring you anything. So like at the end of the day, you could have just been negotiating those deals yourself. You want to make sure that it's like give and take. They're bringing you deals and you are getting deals in organically. So how much opportunity is there in social media? Is it worth it for you to get started in 2025? Absolutely. Every single person that I meet, I'm like, get on social media. No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously, I am the biggest social media hype girl. You ask anybody that knows me personally, I'm always like, get into social media. Like, even if it's just to help your business or whatever, I just feel like it's the most amazing opportunity. I feel like everybody deserves this opportunity. And, you know, for Peter and I, like we went from no job to, you know, signing almost 7 figures in contracts in like 2 years, 3 years. I definitely wouldn't say social media is like a get rich quick kind of thing. And there is a lot that goes into it, and it's not easy. Like I think a lot of times people watch creators and they're like, oh, this is such an easy job. Or I see a lot of times people saying, oh, they need to go get a real job. It's not a hard job. Like for example, Peter's dad, he does hardwood flooring, and that's labor intensive work, you know, all day for however many hours. Like it's not physically hard. It's just more so hard on you mentally, because, you know, you never really get to turn your brain off. You always are like, should I be filming this? Should I be filming this? You know, but anyway, it's not a hard job, but it does require work. And I just think social media is an amazing opportunity. And I think that it would be great for everyone. Something else I don't think a lot of people realize is how many different ways there are to be a content creator and to make money online, because I think we see like the most popular influencers and we're like, that's the only way to make money. But that's actually not true. Like there are so many people who you wouldn't even think they have, I guess, a big enough following. And I only say that in, you know, air quotes, because, you know, follower count versus money, those are two very different things. You would be surprised. There are some people who have 1 million followers, they don't make anything, and then there's some with 100,000 followers and they make $1 million a year. There is no industry standard of how much money you are gonna make based on follower count. There are a lot of different ways to monetize your account. You can monetize by getting paid from platforms, which in my personal experience, platforms don't pay that well. We make a majority of our money working with brands and doing brand deals. You can also get paid from affiliate linking. That is something that you don't necessarily need to have a huge following for. I was talking to somebody and they were saying they make really great money doing affiliate linking on Pinterest. So there's just a lot of different ways that you could be making money online, and you don't necessarily need to have a huge account in order to make a really great income. I could talk about social media for hours and how amazing it is and why I think it's for everyone, but I'm gonna leave the video right here. There are a few things I would love for you guys to take away from this. Number one, there is an opportunity on social media for every single person. It does not matter your story, your background, like literally, tell me your life story and I'll tell you how that would be a great piece of content. Like I was talking to my sister the other day. She is in her last semester of college and she's gonna be getting her nursing degree. And I was giving her like rapid fire, like I would be doing day in the life of her last semester of nursing school, talking about the fact that she is 20 years old, gonna be graduating from nursing school, talking about the fact that, you know, she is in love with her high school sweetheart. Like there's just so many different things. Or I have a friend who is a stay-at-home mom. She's trying to figure out what kind of content she could make. And I'm like, okay, for example, you can show your morning routines. People love to see how people start their day and like their morning routines. What products do you like to utilize for your kids? What do you feed them throughout the day? What are your mom struggles? There are so many things that you can turn into content. No matter what your story is relatable to someone. And I think that that's what we all forget. I think we are all like, oh, I'm so unique, you know? And I'm not saying you're not unique. There's always somebody who wants to be doing what you're doing. There's always somebody who could learn from you. There's always somebody who could relate to you. And so that is all content. So anyway, like I said, I could talk about this for hours and you guys are probably sick of me. I just want you guys to know that this is something that you can do. If you have been dreaming about being a social media influencer and you were just like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know where to start. Where to start is to start posting. That's where you start. You start posting and then you perfect it as you go. I will drop in a couple little links of things that you guys can utilize. In 2025, we are becoming content creators. We are filming, we are editing, we are posting, we are not caring about engagement. We are being patient because it does take time to grow. It does take time to build your audience, but consistency is like number one. If there's one thing that you need to do if you want to be a content creator, that is be consistent. The moment you stop posting and you give up, that's the moment you become unsuccessful. So stay consistent, keep posting your content. If you guys have questions for me, ask them in the comments. I love you. Have a good day. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.